Wait until you find out that feminism wasn't actually about equality, but about getting both parents out of the home, doubling tax revenue, and letting the government raise your children instead of you. Unfortunately, the message of feminism has really been blurred. Of course, I agree with the original feminists saying that they want equality, but unfortunately that has kind of turned into sameness instead of actual true equality.
Collecting matches on apps won't cure loneliness, because chasing online validation only increases your real-world depression.
You ever have like such a bad day and you're just like craving dicks? You're just like, I need dicks. I haven't had dicks this whole time. Give me the fucking dicks. Sometimes I really want to get cracked, and then I open Hinge. I see all the men who match with me and what they say, and I'm like...
Crying over clips shows our generation has lost true intimacy because hookup culture has left everyone emotionally empty.
We need to bring back making out. Like, what happened to just having a good makeout session? Our generation has truly lost the art of intimacy, the art of a good kiss, the art of a good makeout. Like, that's all we need. If we just did more of that, everyone would be so much happier. And I hate when you tell people and they're like, are we in high school? I'm sorry, but people don't even know how to freaking kiss in high school, okay? And when you're kissing with the right person, oh my gosh, it just feels so great. You get the butterflies, and it just makes everything...
When you only promote your body for quick views, men will never view you as a serious partner for commitment.
I don't care what nobody say. Being single for years and years and years, and abstinence, celibate, whatever the fuck you want to call it, not having sex, no intimacy, no nothing, like nobody caring about you, nobody even to talk to chat with, nobody to fucking confide in, not having no support, like none of that shit is normal. Like, that shit not for the weak. Being lonely, like literally lonely, not for the weak. And I don't see nobody talking about that shit enough.
Suggesting to share a man proves modern dating is broken, and people prefer toxic compromises over traditional respect.
Hey guys, I actually don't think a man will ever love me for anything more than just me being a hole with some awesome knockers and awesome rear on me. I don't think they'll ever take me seriously. I don't think they'll ever actually view me as a human, but I'm trying. Every day I'm trying. Hey, get to know me. Hey, get to know me. It's not going well.
Feminism didn't free women. It trapped them in a corporate rat race because doubling the workforce inflated the cost of living.
Male loneliness epidemic, I have the solution. The women who still like dating men need to be dating multiple men. We need to follow in the footsteps of the polygamous Mormons, because I grew up Mormon, and the way they justified polygamy in the early days of the church was men were dying off from war. There wasn't enough men to go around to spread the seed. Well, guess what? We have that problem now, baby. Except that there's not enough women to go around. And then there's men who don't want to change and they just watch their manosphere podcast bros and don't go to therapy. That only leaves the women who still do want to date men. So those women should date more of you so you all get attention. And you should be yelling at those manosphere leaders that have the wife in the one-sided monogamous relationship where she can't date guys, but he can date other women, because he's stealing women off the market. Good-hearted, beautiful women who want to date you are getting taken by him because he's a greedy man. You should yell at him, because we're in a female attention scarcity zone, baby. The only people to blame are the men stealing all the girls, and the girls who still like dating men because they could be dating more of you.
Wasting your 20s playing games and expecting commitment at 30 is a delusion, because ignoring time leads to lifetime loneliness.
Feminism sold us the biggest scam of our generation. They told us we were empowered, but what did we actually get? Burnout, debt, stress, a double life where we work like men and still carry the entire home on our backs. And here's the truth nobody's talking about. Feminism didn't set women free. It trapped us in a masculine system that we were never designed for. They told us to compete with men, to lead like men, to talk, think, act like men, and now we're exhausted, we're disconnected, resentful, and wondering why nothing feels right. We don't need more feminism. We need to reclaim the femininity that was stolen from us, because that's where a woman's real power has always been. In softness, in harmony, emotional intelligence, intuition, influence, not in becoming a copy of the men we were created to complement. If you want to break free from this conditioning and learn how to step back into your feminine design, the design that brings peace, love, protection, and real.
I'm 30 and I'm single, and something that I quickly had to learn while dating at my 30s is that 30 or plus year old men would much rather date women that are on their early 20s than women that are 30 or plus years old. And I think the reason for that is because when you turn 30, you hit this wall where you don't take the same shit that you used to take while you were in your 20s. For example, when I was at my 20s, a guy would say, yeah, you know, like, I just need time. I cannot be in a serious relationship with you right now. And I would go for it, and I would entertain this man. If a man comes today and says, hey, I'm not ready for a serious relationship, it's like, babe, you're 30. The hairline is going back. Like, what else do you need time for? So I quickly had to realize that I'm probably going to be spending a lot of time single, and I have to be okay with it because I cannot go back to my 20s. I also don't want to. I love being 30 and the maturity and consciousness that I have now.
So I just came from a first date, and I'm just going to sum it up. It went well, right? But how he ended the day is just like, it's not much, but I love food. So this just really spoke to me. So as we were saying goodbye, he's like, did you enjoy your food? And I was like, yes, I did. I'm going to be hungry in an hour, though. And he's like, okay, I'll send you some food to your house so you won't have to spend your own money. Helping me save money on food already, and you putting food in my belly? That's a love language for me in its own. I'm already in love.
And here's the thing. If you become a divorced mother in your mid to late 30s, I want you to recognize that you are going to witness other women who are similar to you, who are snagging the young bucks, okay? They are robbing the cradle. They're getting the guys who were barely alive when 9/11 happened. And that's all fine and dandy. But I'm here to tell you, as one of those bitches, that it's not all that it's chalked up to be, okay? It's actually not all that great. I mean, my family is harassing me left and right, asking what I'm doing, wondering why I look so old, standing next to this little baby boy. I mean, I got humbled real quick this morning when my mom called and said that she made me an appointment to get Botox so I don't look so old next to him. This is just the reality, ladies, okay? And I don't feel like I even look that old for my age. But listen, when it looks like you could be nursing your son and your new man at the same time, this is a problem. This is a problem, and it's become a problem for me.
Earning like a man and managing the home is not empowerment, because society devalued motherhood and doubled the exhaustion.
I want to talk about being single and wanting to be loved. I'm currently on a trip on my own in Costa Rica, and something really amazing happened to me today. I'm coming towards the end of my trip and I'm getting a little bit in my feels, and I made a video, it's a couple of videos back, talking about rejection and the fact that I started this year experiencing lots of different rejections, both personally and professionally. Some of those were, of course, in the world of dating, and it just made me think, God, is this ever going to happen for me? Now, I talk a lot about being single and being happy, and I think that no one is perpetually happy. No one is happy 100% of the time. It's just not possible. However, in general, I'm incredibly happy because I just don't want to settle. I know the kind of relationship that I want, and so I'm willing to hold out for that relationship. However, there are days where I'm just like, oh, I would really like to start that journey now. I would really like to start that journey with somebody. And today was one of those days. I woke up and I was feeling, you know, a little bit kind of like emotional and a little bit like, I don't know if this is ever going to happen. And then all of those kind of old thoughts and patterns come up for me, like, what's wrong with me? Why does no one want me? Boo-hoo. But I recognize now, and I'm very aware, self-aware, that those are just thoughts and they're not actually a reality. So I choose not to buy into them because now I have that choice. So anyway, I took myself to breakfast because I was like, I need to eat something. I took my journal. I'm like, I'm going to just journal this all out and I'm going to feel so much better. And as I was sitting down to have my breakfast with my journal, my holiday friends that I made on a trip yesterday came down for breakfast and they were leaving this morning. And I was so happy to see them because I thought they'd already left. And I don't know if you believe in coincidences or serendipity or the universe or whatever, but I certainly do. And one of the women, Ro, started telling me a story about how she'd been single for 14 years and then she has now met this incredible man and she's in love. She's just turned 39. They've been together for like the last year or so. And she also told me that her mum didn't meet her now husband of 15 years until she was 43. She didn't meet the love of her life until she was 43. I'm of the belief that we definitely have more than one love of our life or one soulmate. I think there are many, many people, and I think for the different versions of us that we are, there are many different junctions that we can take. But when I heard her tell this story, it just filled my heart with so much joy, and I was just like, that's the hope and faith. That's the hope and faith, because the person that I'm going to be with exists, they're alive, living their life somewhere, and when the time is right, I'm going to meet them. And that was the message that I needed to be reminded of, and that was the message that I got this morning. So whether you're male, female, if you're single and you do want a relationship, some people don't, and that's absolutely fine, and sometimes you find yourself kind of losing hope, I think it's really, really important to remember that timing is everything. Enjoy your life right now, and when you're meant to meet that person, you will. And yeah, I truly believe that's going to happen, and when it does, I'll be sharing it with all of you. Thanks guys, love ya.
Breaking families made women dependent on state welfare instead of a husband leaving an entire generation growing up fatherless.
How feminism messed up the US economy and how it's actually now come back to bite modern women in the butt. Let's rewind. The modern feminist movement kicked off in the 1960s. The goal was fair wages, equal opportunities, and legal protection. Great, right? They told us that the first wave gave us the right to vote, and the second wave brought us into the workforce. Here's where it gets a little bit sticky. During the second wave, the message shifted. It wasn't just, you can work outside the home. It became, you should. Or you must if you want to be respected. Doing nothing but staying home and cooking and cleaning and raising children, that was suddenly less than. So women flooded the workforce around this time. They were told they would get more financial freedom, more independence, and of course, more respect. But when millions of women started working full-time, it didn't just change individual families, it changed the entire economy. Suddenly, two incomes weren't just nice, they were expected, and that's where we get into the two-income trap. This is a book written by Elizabeth Warren, who is not exactly a conservative voice, but she actually articulates this situation beautifully in her book, The Two-Income Trap. She argues that when both parents started working, the cost of living adjusted. Homes in good school districts, prices went up. Childcare, through the roof. Everything from health insurance to groceries inflated to match dual income spending power. So now we've created this world where it takes two full-time incomes to just be able to afford the same lifestyle one income covered in 1960. Feminism told women and even sold them the idea that they were breaking free. But for a lot of women, especially moms, it feels more like a trap. Because now the choice to stay home with your kids isn't even on the table for many families. So many women would love to be able to be homemakers and clean the house and cook and take care of their kids, and they can't. Because what used to be a respected and even honored role of homemaker, caregiver, mother got dismissed. Feminism lied to us and told us that success only looked like climbing the corporate ladder and competing with men. But we traded in something priceless: time with our children, peace in our own homes, and even financial flexibility. So while women were told you should do it all, what we ended up with is exhaustion, rising debt, and a system that only works if you're always working outside your house. The very movement that claimed to be liberating women made it nearly impossible to live on one income. And I'm sorry, but that is not empowering. Turns out that there's a real price to pay when a society stops valuing motherhood. When caregiving is treated as invisible labor and homemakers are seen as less than, everybody actually loses, especially women. Not just emotionally or in the family structure, we could talk about that forever, but economically as well. So no, I'm sorry, feminism didn't save women. It told us we need to do it all, and now our generation is paying the price for it.
Wild is when feminism told women that they don't need men, it wasn't to make women more free. It was to make them dependent on the state instead of their husband. Think about it for a second. Before the 1960s, family was the safety net. If something went wrong, you had a husband, a father, a brother, a community, a church, a safety net. The people took care of each other. They cared about each other. Then came no-fault divorce in 1969. Suddenly, marriage wasn't a covenant. It was a contract that you could walk away from. Okay, and get this. And when the family started falling apart, who stepped in? The government. Welfare replaced the husband, the system replaced the father, and schools, they replaced the home. Women were told that this is freedom, that being alone, raising kids by yourself, and relying on checks from the government made you strong. But what it really did was break the structure that once protected us. It separated women from men from their families, and children from both. The state became the new husband that offers no love, no legacy, no protection, just control, dependency, and paperwork. And now, generations later, you have women exhausted, men disengaged, and children who grow up not knowing what family feels like.
That wasn't progress, that was replacement.
Debunk 4 lies the modern feminist movement has told women. Number 1, women don't need men. It started in the 60s with the phrase, a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle, which biologically, women are wired to depend on men, and men are wired to actually depend on women too. So God didn't get it wrong when he created 2 sexes, male and female. Men are here to provide and protect, and women thrive under that strength. With number 2, men and women are the same. When women started having casual sex to compete with men who were using them, they were told that they could handle it, but they couldn't. Why? Because women are not built to separate sex from emotion. That doesn't go to say that men should be sleeping around, because that's not God's design either. But women are flaunting their body count as if it's something to be proud of, when actually there's pain there that nobody wants to commit to. Men and women were designed to complement each other, not compete against each other. Number 3, the biological clock isn't real. It is. Women are designed to procreate for a set amount of time. And when that time is up, it gets harder to nearly impossible. But culture wants to tell women to delay marriage and prioritize a career. So when she's finally ready, it's often too late, which leads me to my final point, which is a career is more meaningful than marriage and children, which is the biggest lie of all, because work doesn't love you back. Work doesn't build a personal legacy that will outlive you. It won't sit at your bedside when you're sick or hold your hand on your deathbed. It won't tell stories of how you impacted their life. There's no promotion that's going to fill the emptiness of going to bed alone or walking into an empty house. So flip your priorities, and maybe you're going to find what you're searching for all along is God's design, which is marriage and motherhood.
Wait until you find out that feminism wasn't actually about equality, but about getting both parents out of the home, doubling tax revenue, and letting the government raise your children instead of you. Unfortunately, the message of feminism has really been blurred. Of course, I agree with the original feminists saying that they want equality, but unfortunately that has kind of turned into sameness instead of actual true equality. It is almost virtually impossible for a woman to choose to stay home or for a family to survive off of one income. And it's all because instead of promoting this idea of equality that women should be treated as equals, we have promoted this idea that women should be treated the same as men, and that is not the same thing. Now, because our society and culture has accepted this idea of sameness, that men and women are the same instead of equals, our government, our culture, our society treats women like men, and we wonder why we are treated like absolute crap. There's no maternity leave, there's no benefits, people treat pregnant women horribly, people treat women in general horribly, people treat children horribly, and it's all because of these ideals. Modern feminism has really just turned into this beast that has bit women in the butt, and we are suffering.
We are creating a society that women are not happy in, right? We've suddenly allowed radical...
Your corporate career will never love you back, because true human legacy is built within a family, not an office cubicle.
Feminists to convince us that we should want to be just like men, that we should want to climb the corporate ladder, that we should not aspire to having kids. We routinely cover that sort of a conversation that's happening across various podcasts where they're making it seem like the aspiration to want to stay at home is something that should be frowned upon. So I'll ask the question, what is the value of a woman today? What is sacred about having a woman? If you're a man and you're looking and you're saying, I want to marry somebody, what are the attributes that you should be looking for? Are we offering that anymore? We now exist in hooker culture, right? The sex is free. It's promiscuous. We want to put our bodies on the internet. We say that somehow renders us more free, which in my personal opinion, actually, I think it's bondage. When the only way that you can get attention and the only way that you can get people to look at you is by taking off your clothes.
When sex and attention become free on social media, men lose all incentive to marry because the culture destroyed exclusivity.